Good morning, everyone. Just getting it opened up. Share the screen out. How you guys doing this fine morning? Happy Tuesday to you. Hope the weather's decent in your neck of the woods. It's pretty fantastic up here. Just a few people joining in. We'll hang out while the crew joins in. Hey, good morning, David. Excellent. You gotta love the nice weather. Summer coming. School's getting out. Our high schooler's got 4 days left. He's done Friday. Anybody take any trades this fine morning? There's a little bit higher risk on the TSA if you guys get those, depending on who's on so far. I did take one, so we'll talk about that once we get the whole crew in here. As far as I know, Mr. David V's joining us. There he comes, speak of the devil. Morning, Dave.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Not today, David, but took yesterday, though. Yeah, yesterday was pretty fantastic. How long did you ride that one for?
Hello?
Can you hear me? I can hear you, Dave. Are you playing drums now?
Oh, I can't hear you guys.
Oh, yeah, you're good. I can hear you.
What am I doing wrong? I am unmuted. Yeah, my speakers are up.
Yep, well, I can hear you talking.
All right, let me check my sound settings.
David says, not long enough. I got out on the first couple where the curve started going back down, had a profit, was out in the first 5 to 7 minutes. Yeah, that was, yesterday was a uncommon day, that's for sure. But yeah, you still got a profit, so that's all that counts.
No, that's right.
We'll pull back the 5 minute to yesterday. No, that's too far. That's 5:31. What's the 5 minute on? There we go. That was yesterday. That's I just did already. Ding dong. Well, you're not going to believe this, David, but I was actually unable to be in front of my computer at the open, so I missed out on that fantastic morning. But I captured profits in the afternoon, late morning, early afternoon, whatever I want to call it. But yeah,
I can hear you now.
You can hear me now. Very good.
I have a blue microphone that I plug in for videos, and evidently it's, I don't know what happened, but I unplugged it and I can hear you.
All right. Well, I still got you, so we're good to go.
Good.
As you probably heard, we're just chatting about David L. grabbed yesterday. I was just sharing how I was very unfortunate to have missed the open, but I was able to trade later in the day for profits well enough.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. Yesterday was pretty good move. So
yeah, yesterday was a banner day. I went back and looked at the spreadsheet, and I think I only saw 2 other days with bigger moves in one day, over 2%.
Wow.
So that was a third highest move ever, or largest move in the spread.
Oh my gosh. Too bad you had to miss it. But yeah, I mean that happens sometimes. You know, you can't be, you know, you're not going to be there for every single move.
I'm so happy I hit my goal for the day in the afternoon.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I hit it very, very quickly. I think I was out in the first 15 minutes, so I hit that little bump there on the 5 minute. Yep, right in there.
Yeah, you
And
probably got out on this one if you're out in 15 minutes. Yeah.
yeah, it would have been about there. Yeah. But yeah, it kept going. It kept going. I actually got busy and I did some day trading. So using the new trader script, that worked out really well. You had a video on that, and
I'm really loving this thing. And these, between the IntraTrader script, the micros, everything is just fantastic. I'm just crushing it every day right now. Not to try
yeah,
and brag, but this is really making life a lot easier.
definitely, definitely.
I'm cautiously optimistic because it's like, wow, this is just just great. I just love it. Everything has gotten more like a machine again. And even today with the higher risk trade, I put some marks on here. I started out with, I did it in the paper account as well. I obviously do my real trades first and I do the paper ones after. So I grabbed one this morning in the micros just because it was a high risk. I think we had a 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because of the huge move yesterday.
Yeah, it was pretty big move from 2 to plus 12 plus.
Yeah, crazy big move. So that's why I use the micros. So I'm like, all right, we're going to scale down. I'm not doing full contracts. So I jumped in actually before the open with 2 contracts in the micros right here as this started coming up. So that little mark there is about my entry, roughly. So I wrote it through the open, and I actually added on 2 more contracts when I saw this dip.
Yeah.
And then I exited right here for roughly 115 a contract, or 115 in total profits across 4 contracts in the micros.
In the micros, nice, excellent.
So even on a high risk day, and I thought about leaving one on, but I'm like, nope. So if I would have, it'd still been making profits here.
Yeah, even though it was a hard landing, I had a feeling there was more to the upside because the H4 was down, and that typically goes up. And the M1 was down too, and that typically goes up. It was high risk because we're at 12 on the
Right.
bell curve, but
A new rug's got a paper trade 495 profit. Way to go, buddy.
nice, nice.
David, I haven't caught all the trading room sessions. Is there one? Yes, there is one specifically, and I did label it intra-trader script. I believe it was last Friday or last Thursday.
Yeah, it was last Thursday. Perfect, perfect. Well, I've been kind of busy too. I set up I mentioned Tradeovate last week, and I set up an account with them, and everything went pretty smooth for funding and all that stuff. I'm only going to trade like E-minis in there, but I like their platform a lot. So I'm going to give it a shot. See how they trade. The only reason I kind of wanted to test them out was number one is you guys, as I mentioned last week, they only have a $250 margin day for the micro E-minis, and the commissions are like 70 cents, 79 cents altogether. I think it's 22 cents or 25 cents for the contract commissions. And then there's the exchange fees on top of that. And it comes out to about 79 cents on each side of the contract. But I'm testing it out because they have, it's not exactly the same as NinjaTrader, but they have support for the Mac. And I hate running the parallels and stuff like that for the Mac. So they have native support on their platform for the Mac and Windows and a tablet and a phone.
Nice.
Yeah. So, I mean, no matter where I go, no matter what I do, I'm going to be able to trade.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about indicator for a second there. I'm like, what do you mean they got support for the Mac? I always got like Mac and Mac. Like, oh, you meant Macintosh.
Yeah, Macintosh computers, yes. iOS, Macintosh, whatever you want to call it.
Right on, yep.
So, yeah, I'm testing them out. The only thing that you do have to do, the margins are really small. The commissions are good. But you do have to subscribe to the CME data feed, the real-time data feed, and that's $2 a month, which is pretty reasonable.
Yeah, $2 is definitely reasonable. Yeah, so David, if you're curious too, on top of this little roughly 115 profit before you watch the other video, here's the intra-trader script on a couple charts. Futures up here, indexes here. Excuse me. Actually, I already did take a quick scalp this morning on this little up signal after my ARB trade. So I grabbed a little part of this move coming up. Then I said, oh, that's enough for now. I got to go do the trading room in a few minutes, so I'm going to get back out. And I was happy I did because it dropped back down, but it's still coming up. So if I would have held it, it'd still have been profitable. But putting them all together there with the signals, EOP curve, herding, volatility, MT vol, they all kind of play together. That's how I use those on a quick 30-second one, and we can talk about it more if we need to.
No, I think that's absolutely correct. And if you notice, there's a couple other things that I noticed when I've been testing this out, is that the 50% of the 5, 15, and 30 minutes, if they're really close together like that, it typically means that
even stronger.
It is like kind of additional support at that level. So if it comes back down to it, it's probably not going to go below it.
Sure.
If they're really spread out, that means there's more volatility in the market, and we're probably going to see it decline below those. So that one was a little bit separated yesterday. And you can see that it kind of, especially for the NQ. Oh, the NQ was like, it's down over 100
Oh,
points.
yeah.
You see they're really wide. But that'll act, and look, the bottom one, I think that's the 30-minute one, acted as a resistance.
Yep.
And then when you get the signals, man, it's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, these are the ones I was watching. If you guys didn't see the video yet, was it this one or was it later? Or was it
It was just before that big bar up. So there was one big bar up on the NDX in between those red signals, and you were doing it just before that, I think.
Yeah, I think this one actually drew while it was acting out. There was a down arrow on this one before the bar closed. That's why I was like, this is really interesting because this is rallying up and it's telling me it's going to come down, and sure enough, bam.
Yeah. After Market Timer came out with their update last night, I went long the MYM and the MNQ just overnight, and I was up $124 this morning.
So yeah, nice 100-point, 200-point move overnight there on the futures.
Yep, and I got out just before the open.
See, even more reason to love those micros.
Yeah. And I think I woke up in the middle of the night, right around 2 a.m. and I looked at it, and I think I was down like $2 on one and $3 on the other. But yeah, it was.
Yeah, I had a little move there, then it all came back up.
Yeah, that was it. On your guess, Dave, I asked you a question on the H4 indicator and the TSA. Wonder if you saw it in the email. No, I'm sorry, I didn't check my email yet.
Oh, I think I quickly saw that it was on yesterday, right? And the 4 hour.
On the H4?
Yeah, I think it was on the H4 he had. H4's been showing upslope and down bias. So looking at yesterday, here's where we're taking into account, well, they both are the same actually. So where we start, where we finish overnight, as well as this 5 a.m. bar is all up. So that's an upslope with the down bias. That's where the conflict was yesterday, as we saw in the note. It was yesterday was spreadsheet was up, 4 hour was upslope down bias, then the 1 minute was a down bias with an upslope. So we had a conflict with this and the spreadsheet. So that's why we had higher risk. And the spreadsheet won.
Yeah, that was kind of a judgment call, because you could have said, well, it could have been a slight down bias, but if you look at the overnight session in total, that first bar at 1700 kind of played into, I think, the scenario that it was an up bias there.
Does that help, Anurag?
I almost called it flat, but
Yeah, it's real close to flat for
yeah,
sure.
if you just look at the last 3 bars. But if you go back to the one just before that, it was a slight upslope. I kind of look at the overnight, the whole overnight, those 3 bars, 4 bars.
With the big move yesterday and the uptick today, are we looking at a swing trade setup? Ooh, well, it depends on how today it finishes.
Yeah, because if we're at plus 12 on the spread, I am going to, basically, I think that we're probably going to see a little bit of a down move.
It makes sense. I like the way you're thinking there, David. Absolutely. If we finish at, a 10 or an 8 or 9 or something, yeah, we could definitely be setting up for a long-term negative position.
Yeah.
Or I shouldn't say long-term, but swing trade.
Yeah, swing trade, definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good point, David. All right, so what are we doing now? I don't see any signals on the MQ. I see up signals on the YM. Quite a few up signals. Now, when you look at the intratrader and you see those dots, to me, those are indications of a potential trend change. So it's kind of like a caution. It's not an exit, as we mentioned in the video last week in the trading room. But we've got 3. I've got 3 arrows up. Is that what you got on the YM?
I don't. Where are you seeing that?
On the YM?
I got no indicators on YM yet.
Really? I got 3 up arrows.
Well, give me the up arrow so I could have took that signal. Jeez, dude.
That's odd. You got it on a 5-minute, right?
I do.
Here, I'll share my screen. I'll show them. Let's see what they...
I just got it on the NDX. I got an up. Yeah, it's definitely rallying.
Yeah, those are my signals right there.
Interesting.
And it keeps jumping around on me. Tues, just...
Yeah, so you had one at the open in
Yeah.
the middle, and I have none of those in my YM chart. Why is that?
Do you have the overnight session in there, or did you? Because I don't have the overnight session.
I do. Let me see if that affects it on this chart.
Yeah. Changes time axis.
That changed it. That's it.
I'll be darned.
That's interesting. You learn something new every day.
Yeah. Here's the Tradingology, by the way. So what I did was I just kind of docked it up here at the top. And so I got my signals down here with TOS, and then I can just use the buy and sell buttons up here. Nice little platform. If I've got the Renko charts on here, which are kind of interesting. So they got candlestick bars, lines, bid-ask volume, point and figure. So the charting, I really don't need. I also don't need the market depth, so I didn't pay for market depth data. All I did was pay for real-time data. And I had an issue this morning because I was on the MYM, and it's orange in color, and if it's real-time, it's white in color on her platform. And so I don't think she's gotten back to me on that yet. But basically, MYM, they support all of them, MES. That's white, and M2K. That's also white. So it's all real-time data. For some reason, the MYM isn't coming up in real-time data for some reason. But I really don't need anything there, but I can dock it right up here and just hit my bid and sell, buy and sell buttons. And
interesting.
So, nice little platform. And so really I don't need anything else. With Lightspeed, I have to use it on a PC. That's why I like this, as I mentioned.
How are they for types of accounts?
They just do, I think they just do individual, joint, and business.
Okay.
And basically, Tradingology is just the platform. You have your choice of brokers that it's cleared through. Tradingology is an introducing broker.
Oh,
So
just similar to Tasty, like you're saying, or Ninja Trader, where
yeah,
okay,
so it's just a platform basically, but they use Dorman and Phillips. So I went through Dorman because I forgot who in the chat mentioned that they use Dorman. They like them. So I just went through Dorman.
got it.
So you got these signals now, the YM?
Yeah, the YM I'm showing the 3 is when I turned off overnight. So maybe anybody that was missing that.
Good, good.
I know there was one person that was working on it overnight, but he got it fixed. But I don't think that was his issue. But yeah, watch this. Bam, 3 green arrows.
Yep. I think that's the issue, because what it does is it's aggregating the overnight. See.
Yeah, so I turned it off on both. You got no signals on NQ still, right?
Yep, nothing on NQ.
Just the one on the NDX popped up last 5-minute bar. Or the previous one.
Okay, I don't have NDX on. So check. Yeah, that's interesting the way you use the cash index with those too. I haven't done that yet, but I will.
More information, the better, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you get so you get a signal on the NDX and you get a signal, then you get the confirmation maybe on the NQ on the futures.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's exactly how I did the first couple days last week. I was like, oh, I saw this and I saw it hit here. It's like, once it was like 1, 2, go.
I like that. I'm going to set that up.
Can't see the chat. Let me see if anybody's got questions coming in. Get my chat back open. There we go. Nothing new. You guys are getting used to half-hour sessions, aren't you? I don't have to leave at the bottom of the hour today, so fire when ready.
Yeah, you're captive today for the full hour.
Yeah. Look. See, now it's like, oh. Any guesses why yesterday's move was so big? Ooh, that's a good one. Gonna get philosophical.
Let's take a look at the spreadsheet. See.
Actually, I've noticed one thing. I don't know if you guys are seeing. I know we don't do news or anything, but I have been seeing lots of articles, and I also know this from a few friends that are still involved in, companies. Less and less corporate buybacks is happening. So that's part of why the market's losing their buyers. They're speculating on.
That's an interesting insight, because the buybacks were pretty crazy over the last 5-6 years. I have problems with companies that do buybacks. I don't think that's a smart use of capital, but
Yeah, because more and more of them are, from what I've seen so far, are just they want to keep that for any other M&A activity, and not just trying to prop up things. So it'll be interesting to see if that happens more across the board, and the market loses buyers because they're not doing their own buybacks. That could definitely fuel. I think I saw something over the weekend too, where they were somebody was calling for, yep, this is a signal for the next recession.
Yeah, I think that's entirely possible. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm not surprised that with interest rates the way they were so low for so many years. A number of companies actually borrowed money in order to do buybacks, which is insane to me.
Right. 217. Why did I have a larger one? Oh, because I was looking at the entire, because it kept going after it closed.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. It was like 2.3. If you guys are looking at the daily chart, take a picture. You won't see this probably ever again, or very rarely.
Yeah.
Look at this bar.
Yeah.
2.23.
Just gigantic.
That's where I went back through this. I scrolled back all the way to the beginning. Only 2 other times was it over 2%. And I think only one time to the downside. I found that interesting too. Where it wasn't, I think there may have never been a -2. They're all positives. Maybe once it was negative.
So as far as a guess on yesterday's why it was so big, I think it never went negative. So we hit that +6 on the bell curve, and we hit 2.23% in the fifth. But as you can see, as the bell curve started coming down, it never went negative. It went +8 to +2 to +2 to +0, which is just slightly positive on the plus side. And then it went back up to +2. Other than that, I don't see any other indication of why it would be so large.
Did you see this? First time we've seen this in a long time.
Yeah, it's not the trigger though; it's the trend.
Right.
So
just either way, though, we haven't seen a trend fill in.
That's right. We haven't seen the trend fill in that big, but
since my birthday.
Yeah, it did go negative after that, because that tends to be 3 and 4 on the trend tends to indicate
the end, right?
The end of it, the peak. Yeah.
So which would play into David's setup for a negative swing move? Absolutely. And
yeah.
Look.
Yeah. I mean, if you're doing the micros, it might not be a bad position to take at this point.
Right.
And you know what? I'm going to do that in my Micro E Mini account, my new account. I haven't traded it yet, so that'd be a good position to put on today. I don't have the real-time date on that MYM yet, though.
They're starting to make a turn on the fives coming back to where we started. The ones trailing down, so we'll do that in here as well. I'll leave that for today. I might do it over here though.
Yeah, so I think I'll do that on my new Tradingology account, and I'll do a short position using the micros for a swing trade. And we'll check in next Tuesday and see how it goes.
When we have, are you busy Thursday?
Oh, today's Tuesday. Okay, we'll check in Thursday then and see how it goes.
There we go. All right. And we're already reading David's mind, so we're getting pretty good at this. He was going to ask the questions we're already answering.
Yeah. We're also psychic, eh?
Yep. Amazing powers.
Insane powers.
Let's see. Was there anything interesting in my other spreadsheets I had? I was trying to watch those. Oh, I think there was.
Wow, look at the Dow's at 300 now. So, yeah.
Oh, see, now you're killing me.
357 on the cash. Crazy. Yeah, market time we're nailed.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Holy cow.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to end this now. See ya.
So if you had those arrows, so I guess do not do the overnight session.
Yeah, take the overnight off of that one.
On the futures contracts. Yeah, you got 3 arrows there in a row.
Even that early one that I found here still would have played out, so I should have just left it on. Lesson learned. But it's always good to be safe.
Absolutely.
So there's, people are always curious. You take trades in the room. There you go. Dave just took a short trade on the spread. And then that's a beautiful trade there. If anyone's in it now,
no, I haven't taken
grab
it
your
yet.
Profits.
I have not taken it yet. I am
thinking about it.
I need the.
Oh, you need the live feed.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that in my new Tradingology account.
That's right.
That live feed.
Whatever it takes, David. If we're psychic, we're psychic. I'll take it. I've never claimed that, but you've proven I am today, apparently.
There's a new show on, I think it's CBS, called The In Between. It's about a psychic who helps the police solve murders.
Another one?
Yeah, I watched the first episode last night. It was good. Yeah, it was pretty good.
This is turning green. This is one of the things I look at, guys. So going back to positive on the BOP curve, that's signaling what's going to happen. I don't usually take arrows 5 back, but we haven't got a dot that may signal a change. But a full bullish hurting MT vol's going down, BOP curve's turning around to the up. That's a good sign for another long, quick position there for scalping. Not saying hit it right now, but that's just part of what I look at.
Yeah, when you got full bullish hurting like that, man, it doesn't turn. It doesn't turn quickly. It takes time for that thing to turn negative.
And this is where you can be, go along at MYM. You're only, 1/10 the full contract. And
yeah, we got the SD and ST's positive, especially the SD is close to 10 on the New York.
And it's nice and level there. Just do.
Yeah, nice and smooth up. So, yeah, that was a good entry this morning.
Hindsight, shoulda, coulda, woulda. That's okay. Just like I didn't get the morning yesterday, I live another day.
Yeah, and I got my piece overnight, so I'm good.
Yeah, since I started using this, I'm 4 for 4, 5 for 5 days.
Nice.
Every day I haven't had a negative day yet using this intratrader script.
Nice.
With everybody else, so I keep saying it. I'll keep beating the drum. If you guys don't have it yet, email Strong Market, get it.
Yeah, because it's really a no-brainer. I think with the other scripts, I mean, you have to do the analysis, right? So you have to kind of look at them and say, hey, okay, we've got bullish hurting on the BOP. We've got empty vols going down. The ribbons are, the dots are above the ribbons. So you have to do all this analysis in your head. But with the intraday intratrader script, it figures all of that data from each one of the other indicators into the price, into the study, and so it gives you those signals, tells you everything's
Voltaire just got it. Excellent. Good to hear.
Yeah, good.
So a couple of the key points, we just found a new one today, is make sure if you've got the contracts on, turn off overnight trading, or else you won't see the signals.
Right.
5-minute charts.
Did you turn it off on the NQ as well?
I did.
Okay.
No signals yet on the NQ side outside of the NDX today so far.
Yeah, all the signals were on the yesterday to the downside. So today we're not getting anything at all. And I think it's kind of an important thing is that you don't jump the gun on it thinking that there's going to be an up signal. Right now, market timers scripts are indicating that the YM is going to has a better probability of going higher at this point because of the signals, and it's kind of borderline evidently on the NQ. It's not.
And then you got to take into account, obviously, where we are in the day. We're up 300 points now on the YM, 1.2%, 1.3% up on the NQ. So we're big moves up. Whenever you start getting over 1%, you have to take that into account if and when you're going to take positions, at least in how I do my own trading.
No, absolutely. That is absolutely correct. I mean,
email address for if you're already a premium script member, David, just hit up support@strongmarket.com. And either Jill or Tom or one of their support team will get you the new script if you're a premium member.
Yep.
If you're not a premium script member, you can still use the DANF code and get $500 off. That is ready to rock it.
Yeah, and if you're a premium script member already, they'll just send it to you. I think after Dan's video last week, they kind of pushed them into releasing it for everybody and putting it in the download.
Oh, is it in the downloads now?
No, not yet.
Not quite yet. Pretty soon.
They're going to do it this week, though.
Gotcha. I'm happy to help with the confirmations.
Absolutely, you're a big help. A couple of them, I guess, said, "Hey, let's not release it. We'll just make $1 million off of this trading." No, we owe it to our customers.
Let's see. Now the NDX is following. Just painted the new bar in. 5-minute bar goes green.
Yeah, that's a pretty good signal that the bullish momentum is continuing here. The BOP fills out after 6 dots, so it doesn't go any further than that. The only real reading you get is on the BOP curve. That can go up for a long time. So yeah, very, very good indication. If you get empty vol to go down at the same time, it's even better.
Right. Yep. Ribbons are kind of maxed out, so that's the only thing that it's like, oh, we can't go any farther.
Yeah, you can't go any farther on that. You can't go any farther on the VOP. So
yeah, these are already pelted to the metal. Let me see it coming down a little bit.
Now there is another script I'm also beta testing. And I think I mentioned it before, but I'm not quite sure if I did or not. Here, I'll take over the screen again, if you don't mind.
Okay, sure.
I've been beta testing these two because what I'm doing is I'm looking for something like a oscillator type of script. And so these two scripts here, this is empty vol reversed. So basically it's like empty vol. I made a couple of modifications to it myself in order to use it like an oscillator. So it oscillates between this plus 20 and minus 20. And I use it on a 10-minute chart, but you can use it on any chart. But basically what happens is that when it gets up to near the plus 20 area and it starts declining, and I use, of course, SD and ST and the signals, it tells me that the market has already topped out and it's ready to decline. When it gets down to the minus 20 level, it's like, okay, we're kind of bottom fishing here. In fact, it went below it, which is an extremely negative indication. And it just kind of hugged it for a long time, and then it started shooting up. Right here, you can see on this chart, we had a very strong down move on the YM on these two bars, but we had a very sharp up move on this new indicator. And that gave me an indication that we're going to go higher, and that was yesterday. And so in conjunction with market timer indicating that, hey, if we're down at we're down 2,000 on the 27-day sum, minus 2,000, that typically brings in buyers. Well, those buyers started showing up about 20 minutes earlier, right at 9:30, 9:50, and then here at 10 o'clock, it just took off. And I already had the up signal here. This is, so it's very, very, it's similar to volatility, empty volatility, except it's the reverse of empty volatility, and I have it on a, let me just show you quick here.
So if it's the reverse of empty vol, wouldn't it be going down if empty vol goes down and price goes up?
No. So I've got it on, draw it as a style, as a line, and the width is 3. No. So if it's the opposite, of empty vol, it's going up as price goes up. Empty volatility goes down as price goes up. Typically.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Thinking backwards.
Yep. So what I did was I made a few other modifications to the empty volatility script to have it so that it oscillates between a minus 20 and a plus 20, basically. So now we're like above that plus 20 in that area, which is extremely bullish. However, it typically, you see, based on the oscillator here, when it hits those high levels and it's very, very bullish, it tends to go to the other side and goes back down to 20. And then it goes back up to 20. And then it goes back down to minus 20, plus 20, minus 20, plus 20, minus 20. So I'm anticipating the next move is going to be minus 20 because that's what it does, is it oscillates. It goes from that plus, which was here, to the negative, which is here. And that was kind of a very weak move, which is a pretty good indication that we're going to go lower. But it oscillates, and so it kind of does a couple of different things. It checks to see if we're above that 20 level or at that 20 level. The probability is very high that the next move is going to be lower. And when it's low, it's a very, very good probability that the next move is going to be higher. And so I use it on a 10-minute chart, kind of as a check against the signals. Because if I get an up signal, I want to make sure that this thing is moving up. And if I get a down signal, I kind of want to make sure this thing is red and moving down. The other thing is this MTYM price change, which is not the actual name of it. This is the price anomaly. So when the price anomaly is extremely wide here, like it is here, we got a very, very negative and very, very positive on one side and negative on the other. This is the price anomaly. The market's going to move in the opposite direction. Here's another good example here. When they're very far, when they're really separated very, very far, right at that bottom they were separated, the next move is going to be higher. When they're really separated right here, next move is going to be higher. And that seems to work out really good. It only typically works when they're really, really separated. When they're really close together like this, there's not really much of a signal. It's only when they're like really, really separated like this, then the market's going to move higher.
Does it never go the other way, where it's too low and then it drops?
What happens is when I find that the market is going lower, where is it? No, we haven't had an update in a while. Go back to an update. Like here, they're really close together. That typically is a bullish indication. When they're separated really far apart, that's a negative, right? So when you see the ones that are really separated here,
right?
That's a real negative. They're so far apart, and so if you took that and subtracted it from that, you'd have a very large price anomaly, and that indicates that we're going higher. But when they're really close together, or after a decline, so if you see it after a decline, that's a signal to exit a short position. But when they're really, really close together, that's a positive indication.
I guess there's one example where it's kind of went the other way. We haven't had an extreme, though, where the green dots are way below and the red line's way above. That just hasn't happened recently.
Yes. Yeah. So that was back on April. We haven't seen that in a long time. It's the opposite of the other ones, where it was way too high. We did have a little bit of a decline here, but then we were very close together here until here. Then we had a pretty big separation, but definitely not the same.
Not as drastic.
Not as drastic, yeah. So it's more of a really good indication of when it's going to pop higher rather than when it's going to pop lower. Although if you do see this,
pay attention.
Yeah, it's probably going to start to drift lower. And especially if you get it in conjunction with a topping out on the oscillator here. That's a pretty good indication we're going to pull back. So it's just a couple more scripts that we're kind of playing with. I use it. I've tested probably every single combination of scripts with market timer that they've released, and so far the ones I really, really like, of course, are the signals, the new IntraTrader, which is absolutely fantastic. I mean, I can't trade without it anymore. And then using this oscillator. This one is interesting only because it kind of gives an idea if the price anomaly is so far separated that there's a potential for an anomaly event, which, as you can see, in these cases indicated the market was going to pop higher. The ones at the top, I think, are less conclusive. Not quite as solid as a signal.
So Walter's asking, so if they're close together, the prevailing trend is strong. If it's wide apart, it's a possibility to reverse. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. But typically the big ones on the reverse side are the ones that I'm looking for the market to move higher.
Yeah, so if you think about when you read the market timer stuff, when they talk about price anomaly and it gets that large one, this is just showing it what happens, right? So like there we had a huge drop in price, but the anomaly was super far apart looking at that chart. So it reversed itself.
Right.
It's like it fixes itself. The anomalies there, it's like price is not supposed to be that where it is.
Exactly.
Kind of what that's showing.
And then when you get the oscillator down to that -20 level and you have this at the same time, it's a very good indication to pop higher. So both
And
of
those
these,
are 200-point moves there.
yeah, they're big moves too. Both of these are. I modified the scripts myself personally for my own use. But if any of you guys who are premium subscribers and you want a copy of these, just shoot me an email at David Tradingology and I'll send them to you. Just make sure that you're a premium member though. And use Dan's coupon because that's a great price off of the scripts.
Dan, F as in Frank, all one word, 4 letters.
Oh, this is interesting. The trade, they got back to me. Traded by MYM is traded on a CBOT.
It is. That is the only one that's different.
Oh, that's why.
I should have thought that. I could have told you that.
Oh yeah, I didn't think of that because when I thought the seminar that the CME did was they had all the symbols up there, right?
Yep, that's the one lone one. That's right.
So now I got to pay $4 a month because it's another $2 for the CBOT.
Oh, I don't know, but that might not make it worth it. No. Mike says, "Are you using it for the swing trade setup?" That's more. Well, I guess that's looking at the whole index. That's not for the volatility arbitrage itself. So this is just looking at going long or short on different contracts. Not so. Yeah, we absolutely do use. I'll back up a second here. Volatility arbitrage is one of our main tools. Everything that the indicators do and show us aren't always related to volatility arbitrage trading. So what that means is, yeah, we do have all the signals in the scripts that you see, with the bell curve, the 5th level columns, SDs and STs, looking at all that. Those do relate to the VolArb, but high level. So once that's done, typically, after the first half an hour, or if you're in a swing trade and you let it ride out for a couple days. But if you're doing a day trade VolArb, this is all just high level. That's the right screen. That's where we start looking at these other scripts for opportunities, which is what that price anomaly shows us. That's an opportunity to just trade the entire index. And with the release of the micros, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but this helps everybody get into it for very low risk, very low overhead to even take those one-sided, if you're going long, the YM, you can all use the MYM. It's 1/10 the risk. My brother actually just texted me yesterday, "Hey, I got some money saved up for my side job. I want you to help me about this money management." So I said, "I know what to do for you." I said, "You couldn't have better timing." So he's starting to get into it as well, and that's what I'm going to instruct him to use is these micro contracts. There's nothing better. I don't know any better way to trade. If you know one, let me know.
Yeah, absolutely not. I think it's probably the best thing that's happened to trading in 20 years. No joke, because number one is the low volatility of the trade. We talked about this issue of the Dow multiplier a couple of times. And I think that the multiplier has gotten to such a low point that it exaggerates some of the moves in the market. Like in 1929, the market declined 90%. And it was a 1-to-1. So if all the indexes dropped $1, then it would be down $1. And a 10-point move in 1929 was huge. Today, the equivalent would be 1,000-point move. And it really means that a lot of the stocks are only declining maybe $1 or maybe $1.50 or something like that. But because the multiplier is so low, it makes an exaggeration of the move on the Dow index. And so, if you're trading the full YM contract, the mini contract, you're leveraging $120,000, and those moves can be really exaggerated because of that multiplier. The multiplier is so low. Now with the micro E-minis, you can finally get the retail trader doesn't have to sit through that volatility. That's why Dan and I are so excited about it, because it opens up all of the spread opportunities, all of the overnight opportunities. Day trading again becomes fun instead of a nerve-wracking experience for a lot of people. And not only that, but for you guys who are in the U.S., the tax treatment of futures contracts, which I have fallen in love with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so good. And the reporting on your tax return is a piece of cake. You got one line you fill in.
Yeah, you don't have to do all the mark-to-market garbage. It's so much easier.
Yeah, with options and all that kind of stuff, and importing all the data and all the trades and wash trades and all that crap.
Or pay for a log thing. This one import, you don't have to do any of that with futures. It's sweet.
It is. It is very, very nice. And the tax treatment is fantastic, especially at my age.
Oh, David, also, Infinity Futures is charging the same. That's the one I hadn't heard on. That's horrible. Maybe if we get enough people to complain, they'll fix that. Because we've been talking to a lot of people since they were a decent one with low. What are their commissions? Were they super low already, where they can't go lower? Because I thought they were super low. With margin overhead was really low. All of that was low.
Yeah, they should be.
Because I know in my interactive brokers, they charge about a quarter of what the full contract is. $125. Wow.
Yeah, Tradingology is charging 79 cents a side. But if you subscribe, they have the subscription service. So if you subscribe for $20 a month or something, it goes down to 50 cents a contract. So you'd have to do a lot of trading to make that up, though.
You're showing IBs at 30 cents. I wish I could have a regular account. Maybe I'm getting hit. Mine's 47 cents. That's what I had the professional advisor account.
Yeah, it's still very, very good, I think.
I'll take 47.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, because then you'd only have to, 1 point on the YMM would make up that fee.
That was an advertisement.
Yes.
Yeah, it might be 30 cents if you're doing bulk. Who knows? If you trade enough, you can get that low. They do have that.
Right.
Which none of us qualify for that, or none of you guys will qualify for that. Even I don't trade that, and Dave doesn't either that I know of.
Yeah. Well, my wife might. She did $500,000 worth of trades on Bitcoin in the last 2 weeks.
I haven't looked at that chart in a while. Let me look at that chart.
Oh, it dropped like a rock last
night.
night.
Did you see this one too? The SLV DVC?
Yes, it moved up very, very sharply. It looks like a fat tail on the fifth column levels, and I did not catch that. I was in long before, and then I got out, and now it's that was a really nice move.
Bitcoin just dumped down to 7,900.
Yep, dropped down about 1,000 points there.
Looks like it was up at 9, hit a high.
Yeah.
I just leave this chart every once in a while and look at it. I don't do anything with it. Is that one that we talked about a few weeks ago that you found?
Yeah, if you keep it up there, I'm waiting for the buy button to buy and sell button
to become active.
Yeah, I can't wait because I still have two Bitcoins in that paper trading account.
That's awesome.
I'm not selling it there. My sell button is live, but I'm not selling.
They're just trying to bait you.
Yeah. And I'm up $5,000 on those things, even after yesterday's drop.
So now we have to get to make an intratrader script for Bitcoin. No pressure.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that she can't sell short anymore. We were going through a broker that was denied a New York State bit license. They had their application in. While it was pending, we could trade it, but they had it denied. And now we have to go through Coinbase, and the commissions are so much higher. We can only do long positions. We can't do short.
Well, that's just rude.
Yeah. So she's kind of bummed out about that. She's not happy about it. She keeps asking me when the NASDAQ's going to go live with their trading of cryptocurrencies. Actually, the CME, I don't know if you know this, but the CME is launching a Bitcoin physically settled futures contract next Monday.
I saw that they were talking about, I've been noticing that on some news feeds as well.
Yep.
A futures contract on Bitcoin.
That's new. Now, this is different than the one that was on the CBOT. The CBOT was a cash settled futures contract. And that terminated, by the way. You can't trade that anymore. They complained about low levels of activity, low number of contracts being traded. And the reason for that was that they wanted a full margin. So one contract was $8,000 or whatever the price of Bitcoin was. And it was a cash settled instrument. So there was really no tie to the physical Bitcoin, physical in a virtual sense. You don't actually get the Bitcoin if the contract expires and you're in a long position. But with the CME contracts that are coming out next week, they are settled with Bitcoin. So if you keep the contract, you get the Bitcoin. And I think that's going to make a huge difference in the market.
Right. Oh, look who just showed up again. One point I'll make, don't always jump on. If you guys are going to start testing these, test them all you want. Yep, there you go, Voltaire. Arrow just appeared in YM. You're right.
Yep.
One thing to note, though, we're 1 minute in to this 5-minute bar. There's nothing to say this thing won't come back down here and that arrow's gone and we go the other way. So don't jump on it when it shows up immediately.
Yeah, kind of wait for that bar to finish. And also, the best entry points are going to be around the 50% levels of the day, of the 5, 15, and 30 minute. And that's long past now. So you better have some other, you better have a pretty good indication from the SD and STs before you jump into that.
Yeah, if these start really hooking up, you can maybe take a quick short scalp, but definitely short term. And I don't have it up here, but something you could do if you're looking at scalping like that too is you could keep this on the 5 and have another duplicate chart on a 1 minute, so you could watch the bars on a 1 minute and watch the SDs. So that's one thing I do like to watch if I'm doing super scalping is I'll watch the SDs and STs on a 1 minute because they do fluctuate more than they do on the 5, obviously. See how it just disappeared and it came back. So yeah.
All right. Well, we got a couple minutes left, guys. Any questions before we head out the door today? And also, I'm going to do my, I think I'll take that swing trade on the MYM MNQ as soon as I see a good entry point. Where are we now on the spread? Starting to head down already.
Yep. There's a 5-minute chart.
Getting that point. Yep, just getting to that point. All right. So as soon as we get out of here, I'll subscribe to CBOT data feed on Tradingology, and I'll enter that position. And we'll check in on Thursday, see how it goes.
Sounds good. I will. I'll throw it on somewhere I can track it into my paper account here too, so we can see it.
Yeah. Just yeah, definitely.
All right, guys. Well, happy Tuesday, and have a good week. We'll catch you on Thursday.
All right, guys. See you, Bob. Take care. Domingo.
Thanks, Walter. Appreciate it.
Yep. See you, Mike. Bye, Dan. Have a good day.
Take it easy, guys.